Hey everybody, this is Darin Kidd, and yes, we're going through some crazy times right now, being quarantined in our homes and with their family and our kids. And all I can say is it's probably a good thing I have no hair at this point. But times like these, they can either make us or they can break us. And so what I'm going to do on this live, this video is I'm going to give you some tips on how to not just go through the challenging times, but to grow through the challenging times, right? And so I'm going to give you some really good information on how to grow faster than you even thought you possibly could, even though we're experiencing some big challenges. So do me a favor, as you jump on, whether you're live or on replay, let me know where you're watching from, what city, what state, what province in Canada, and I am broadcasting through multiple platforms. So my personal Facebook page, my business Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Periscope, and I forget what else. And so depending on what platform you're on, do me a favor and make sure if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and like the video. That would be awesome if you like this kind of content. And then also make sure you click on the little bell where you'll get reminders. If you're on my business Facebook page watching this, make sure to like the page. And that way you will get, and also set it up to get notifications, because I've got a big announcement for you here in just a second that I think all of you are going to be really excited about, especially under this, with the circumstances that we have right now. So we got the UK, so we got India, we got Lynette from Ohio. Welcome. Appreciate everybody joining. And also too, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start giving away things on each of the videos that I do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away a 30-minute coaching session, and we can talk about whatever you would like to talk about, whether it's personal, whether it's business, how I can help you from my experiences, whether it's with my franchises, whether it's with network marketing, maybe it's personal growth. And so for all of you that share the video, do me a favor and make sure you put that in the comments, or start a watch party, because that way I can let you know. We can go through, we're going to draw it, and we will announce it next week who actually won the 30-minute coaching session with me. And the people that are paying me for that, it's quite a bit of money. And so that is a really good value where I can help you, shave some months or years off of your learning curve. And let's see. So a couple things real quick, couple announcements before we get right into the content. Let's see, here we are, Mexico. We got Mexico, we got Texas, New Hampshire. Welcome, everyone. Hey, Vera Lynn, thanks for joining. All right, so let me give you a couple quick announcements. First of all, those that, if you are in the network marketing, profession, and you're wanting to grow your business and you would like to learn from my 28 years of experience, I've actually got a free 30-day trial. We don't even collect any payment information. For those of you that want to take advantage of that, just go to that website on the screen, the3mfactor.com, and then you can just put in your information, and we will take and put you into the group where I go live once or twice a week minimum, and I train you on how to prospect, how to find leads, how to get customers, how to do online marketing, how to brand yourself, and so on and so forth. And so that's just something that I'm doing to help everyone going through the challenging times, where I can add value to you and your organization. And we're probably going to close it out. I've got to talk to my team right after this. Most likely we're closing that out Sunday night. Okay, so if you want your team to join as well, make sure you forward that link ASAP, because once I close it up, it is going to be closed, and we're not going to have that free 30-day trial again. All right, now for another big announcement. Let me ask you a question, and I want to look in the comments. How many of you are interested in learning how to use YouTube to market? Okay, whatever you market. I don't care if it's products, services, maybe your business. Do me a favor and let me know in the comments if that's something that interests you. Because here's what's fascinating. I hired a guy that was one of the top 20 YouTubers in Forbes magazine. And this guy helped me do a few videos and taught me a system. And then even though I hadn't been focused on my YouTube channel in the last several years, my YouTube channel has continued to grow. I've got one video we were just looking at. It's over 700,000 views. And we were looking at how many views it gets every single hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even though I only did that video one time. Right? So if that interests you, I'm seeing we got Lisa. She says, I'm in. Vera Lynn says, I'm interested. All right, well, here's the great thing. Here's something really good for all of you. I'm going to be interviewing. I am launching basically my own TV show It's just live on the different platforms like I'm doing right now. And next week, I'm going to start that. I'm going to do that every single week. And I'm going to be interviewing some people that you may have followed your entire life that can bring a lot of value in a lot of different areas. And I've already got people that have committed to jumping on that TV show with me, where we can bring you value that's going to help your health, your wealth, your family life, every single aspect of your life. And I'm really excited about it because those type of things completely changed my world. Well, the first interview that I'm going to do is Sean Cannell. And Sean is the guy that helped me actually go out there and start my YouTube channel. He's the one that helped me do everything that took it and made it evergreen. So for example, if you do a video on Facebook, people see it for a few days and then it goes down the news feed and then there's no more views basically at a certain period of time, right? Where YouTube, you can put up a little short video, and we were looking at some different people's videos on YouTube that had no training whatsoever. Some of them don't even know what they're doing, but by accident, they put up some videos that are getting several views per hour, and they're selling products, they're selling services, and they're building a following, and we get paid by our influence. So Tuesday night at 8 p.m., if you make sure that you go to my business Facebook page, later on today or tomorrow, we will have the event set up, okay? And then all you gotta do is click interested to make sure you get a reminder, and I will be interviewing him, one of the top 20 YouTubers in Forbes magazine, who is a consultant for many, many people, many companies. He's been on the stages, and so he's one of the top social media marketers in the world. And I will be interviewing him, and he will be bringing you some tips. And here's the title, okay? Let me know if this sounds good to you. All right, here's the title. How to find prospects and leads with easy to make YouTube videos, even if you have no camera experience, right? So how to find prospects and leads with easy to make YouTube videos, even if you have no camera experience. Let me tell you something else that's fascinating, then we're gonna get right into the training. And by the way, for those of you that just came on, anyone that shares, make sure you put shared in the comments below. I'm gonna give away a free 30-minute coaching session. We're gonna announce it next week. So I appreciate the shares and appreciate the likes. But what's happened, I was just talking to Sean and I'm like, dude, what's crazy is I'm looking at my YouTube channel and the views on my YouTube channel has went up threefold. It's tripled in the last 48 hours. And I'm like, is that just because of the times that we're in? He goes, it's definitely because of what's going on right now. You know, people are at home, they're watching YouTube videos and they're, learning and wanting to grow, and they want to find a way to make money from home, and they want to learn new skills. And so he goes, yes, that's awesome. And so that's the benefit of having videos on YouTube. And it's very simple. YouTube is, he'll give you all the stats. He'll give you some simple tips to use to go out there and start your YouTube channel. And it's fun. It's fun to see you start to connect. Now my YouTube channel is viewed from over 50 countries, over 50. And then it says like 27%. So it's probably more like 75 to 100 countries. And just some of those videos are just on my phone, right? So we're going to teach you all of that. All right, so I think we are ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, so if you're ready to grow, I'm going to help you. All right, well, thanks, Michael, for sharing. Thanks, Vera Lynn. All right, Chantel, perfect. Appreciate all of you. All right, so yes, we're going through some crazy times right now. So I want to give you some things to help you not just go through it, but to grow through it. Not only just a business level, but also a personal level. And I want to read you a couple quotes that I was looking at earlier today. Always remember that striving and struggle precede success, even in the dictionary. Okay, always remember that striving and struggle precede success, even in the dictionary. That was Sarah Brethnook, I think is how you say her name. All right, I also want to share another story with you because I think right now it's important to look at the success stories and people that have gone through challenges in their life, because what you focus on, you attract, and what you focus on grows. And where your energy where your focus goes, your energy flows. Very important right there. There's so much negativity. To have the right mindset and do some of the things that I'm going to teach you today. Some of these things were taught to me by John Maxwell and different mentors that completely changed my world, and I know it can change yours. And I've really got a good perspective, right? Yeah, all of my events were canceled for April. a lot of you know, I'm no longer a distributor in network marketing. I no longer have my franchises. So I was full-time speaking, training, and coaching. And April was the month that everything was going to take off and everything got canceled. But you know what? I've got a really good perspective. And I'm like, yeah, things don't happen to me. They happen for me. And this is going to cause me to really take it to another level. And because of the right perspective and doing the right things, I honestly believe that's going to happen. And I know it's going to happen. All right, but there was a story I was listening to this morning by Rick Warren was sharing. And Rick Warren is the one who wrote, The Purpose-Driven Life. And he was talking about how he met this guy in Tennessee. And this guy in Tennessee said, they were talking to each other. It's like, look, being laid off from my job was the best thing that ever happened to me. Okay, being laid off from my job was the best thing that ever happened to me. And Rick is like, well, man, I definitely want to hear this story. And so he started talking. This guy's like, look, I worked at a sawmill my entire life. And, and I was so comfortable working at that sawmill. And then I got laid off and it was devastating. My wife was devastated. And by the way, the dog's getting ready to bark. My kids are walking in the door. How many of you are enjoying the homeschool thing? Definitely. I will just say this. My kids are starting Monday, the homeschool stuff. We've never homeschooled before. And I can tell you this, they're already expelled. I'm expelling them. I'm putting them outside for detention. But anyway, so he's talking to this guy who got laid off. And he's like, man, what happened? Well, I worked at a sawmill. I got laid off. I was devastated. But I told my wife, you know what? I'm going to use this as an opportunity to finally, for once in my life, do something I've been passionate about. And that's start building. And the first two contracts that he had were hotels. Well, that guy's name was Wallace Johnson, who was one of the co-founders of Holiday Inns. And within 5 years, he was a multimillionaire. And he said, if I could go back and see the guy that laid me off and meet him, I would thank him, because what he did was he pushed me into what was my destiny, where God really wanted me, but I had to have that door closed. I had to go through something to get to something. Does that make sense? So sometimes we have to go through these challenges. If people would have told me 21 years ago when I couldn't feed my family and I was bankrupt and they took my car and I went to the doctor for depression, hey, Darin, this is awesome. Man, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to you. The conversation would have not gone very well after that. But looking back, it was one of the best things that happened to me. But it only changed because, see, challenges can crush you. They can make or break you. So it really didn't make me and help me until I changed my perspective and started doing some of the things I'm going to share with you here in just a second. All right, growth. People think that, hey, look, growth is accidental. It's not. Okay, we're either growing or dying. Maintaining is a myth. Well, I'm just maintaining. I'm just saying, no, we're either growing or declining. I learned that from the late billionaire Paul J. Meyer. We're either green and growing or ripe and rotten. And so we have to be intentional about growth, which is number one. Okay, so the number one tip, you have to be intentional. It's not accidental. You have to choose growth personally and professionally. So when it comes to personally, I learned a long time ago, I'm like, look, I don't have a college education, but it doesn't mean I have to not be educated, right? So it's just because I do not have a college education does not mean I'm not educated, because I am growing every single day. And what I've done is I've made that a part of my rituals and my habits, because at first you create your habits and your rituals, then they create you. So I force myself, no matter how I feel, every day when I get up, I have this whole ritual I've mentioned to you before, that I get up, I do my meditation, I drink my 20 ounces of water, I do my devotions, then I listen to a podcast or a YouTube video. Most of the time it's like a sermon from me, and you don't have to believe what I believe, but that's what I do. And so it kicks my day off. I'm growing and learning from the time I get out of bed. And I don't go straight to social media. And I think now more than ever, as we're going through the pandemic and the crisis, if you start your day off by focusing on, CNN, constant negative news, or you focus on Bad Morning America, because they understand if it bleeds, it leads. And that's what gets people's attention. I'm not focusing on that. Right? I've gotten to the point where if I see people having an argument or a discussion or political debate on Facebook, I won't even read it. And a lot of times I'll unfollow those people. And then sometimes I even unfriend them, because I don't want to see that stuff, because I understand how important it is. The late billionaire Paul Meyer said, you have to guard the portals of your mind, right? You have to be very careful what you let in. But growth is intentional. It's not an accident. You don't accidentally get to the top of a mountain. You have to set a plan. So personally and professionally, okay, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every single time. So what is your personal plan for growth? If you read John Maxwell, how many of you like John Maxwell? He's one of my favorite people on the planet, and there's a lot of reasons for that, right? Not only is he one of the top leadership, people in the world, presidents of countries bring him in to train them and their leaders, but for me, it was seeing who he was behind the scenes. Because the old saying is, never meet your hero in person, because you will be greatly disappointed. In other words, a lot of people that you see, maybe it's on TV, maybe it's on the internet. If you ever met them in person, some of them may not be the type of person that you think they are. John Maxwell was even better than I ever thought he was. I saw him treat the valet. I saw him treat the person, true story, cleaning the bathroom, just like he treated people that were worth millions and millions of dollars. So I love the fact that, because sometimes people's actions speak so loudly, we can't hear what they're saying, right? Because they say one thing, but their actions say something different. But John Maxwell, the whole point of this was, the story was, if you read John Maxwell's book, several places in several books, he goes, the day that changed my life was the day that someone asked me the question, what is your personal plan for growth? And he didn't have one. And he was offered a program from the billionaire you always hear me talk about. He didn't have the money, but he went out and he sacrificed meals and vacations and saved the money to buy that program, because he understood when it comes to business, we don't make what we want, we make what we are. And if we want to make more, we need to have a plan to become more. And the great news is you can have a plan that's just reading 10 or 15 pages out of a good book a day, right? That's a book a month. Most people don't read a book a year. So in 10 years, you've read 100, where most people hadn't even read 10. Okay, what happens if you have a podcast or a YouTube video, or you're plugging into something like this 15 minutes a day? Well, it seems like it's not that big a deal that day, but compounded over a period of time, it separates you from the masses. And if we want to have something different than the masses, we have to do something different than the masses. And it's pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple. Number 2, don't make the excuse, I don't have the time. So there was a lady that made that excuse to Tony Robbins, because he was saying, hey, what's holding you back from the life that you deserve and you really want? And this lady raised her hand and she stood up. And as the words came out of her mouth, it was almost like they were in slow motion to me. She's like, I don't have the time. And I'm like, oh, she should have never said that one, right? And he's like, isn't that interesting? Because it's the only thing in the world that we all have the same amount of. We all have the same suitcase, right? The same size suitcase, 24 hours in a day. It's what we put in that suitcase. So in other words, stop saying I don't have the time and start saying it's not a priority. If you start saying that, you'll think about it a little bit differently, right? Don't say I don't have the time. Just say, look, it's not a priority. I used to use my kids as an excuse, right? But then I learned to use them, and that was my reason. Well, I don't have time. I've got kids. Well, no, that was my reason that I wanted to go out and have a better life for my family, because I did have kids. That wasn't my excuse. But before, I was using them as an excuse. And then John Maxwell says, make smart trade-offs. Okay, you have to give up to go up. Smart trade-offs would be maybe, hey, temporarily over the next, several months. I mean, now that all of us are quarantined at home, we have a lot of time to learn and grow. And it's all about our perspective. I'm not trying to focus on what I don't have, what I can't do, what was canceled, what I'm not getting paid on. What I'm focused on is like, look, what can I do? I can grow more in the next several weeks than I've grown in a year, right? I can give more value to more people. I've been doing free Zoom trainings for teams and companies that can at least get 10 people on a Zoom training. I've been doing them for the last 2 weeks, right? I'm like, how can I add value during these challenging times? And I've been helping people do that, right? But don't make it. We can make excuses to make money, but we can't make both when it comes to business. Number 3, don't wait until you feel like it's the right timing. If that's the case, you're never going to do it. You're never going to start. What does feeling like it have to do with it? So maybe it's business when it comes to the timing of a business. There are so many times I was preparing to prepare, right? Or maybe it's once we get through this, the kids homeschooling and all this stuff, then I'll start working on my plan for growing. You know what? It's never the right time. You just have to start. So don't wait till you feel like it's the right time. All right, number 4, don't be afraid to fail and make mistakes. The most successful people I've ever met, I remember meeting a billionaire, and he goes, "I'm the biggest failure you will ever meet." And I'm like, "Well, how's that work?" He's like, "I started over 100 companies, and over 40% of them, no, 60% failed. But the 40 that he had left did billions of dollars in revenue." So he said, "I'm the biggest failure you'll ever make." Most successful people, every successful person that I've ever met, they failed their way to the top. But my attitude is, and let me know if this is making sense, you don't fail, or I don't fail. I either win or I learn. So experiences are powerful if we use them to reflect and learn and grow from them. So as long as as John Maxwell says, you're failing forward. Don't be afraid to fail, right? The biggest success stories in the world were the biggest failures, but they kept falling forward. And in my opinion, the only way you can fail is to quit. And I also shared this with the team yesterday. I was sharing this with them. I go, "Look, what motivates you about me from listening to everybody that said something that, 'Oh, Darin, I love your training. I love this.' It was all the stories of me failing and me doing the wrong things because they could relate to me." So the failures, that's where you grow. You don't grow in the easy times. It's not the easy times that make us grow. Obstacles lead to elevation. Without the obstacles, there is no elevation. So don't worry about it. Don't be afraid to fail and make mistakes. And a rocket is off track on the way to the moon the majority of the time, but it continues to readjust and it still gets to the moon. Okay. Give me a like on the video, give me some hearts or whatever. Or if you're on YouTube, let me know in the comments if this is making sense to you. If any of you had an aha moment. And again, don't forget to put share in the comments if you shared, so that way I can put you in the drawing for a free 30-minute coaching session. The number 5, this is a big one. Do not compare yourself to other people. Do not compare yourself to other people. And let me tell you, I'm just being transparent. I have to fight that now, right? And I was a distributor for 28 years in network marketing before I left and went to speaking, training, and coaching. I have to fight now not to compare myself to what other people are doing that have been doing it for 5, 10, several years. And because sometimes you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. And that's and again, where you focus, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Focus on what you can do with the situation that you have right now and with the abilities that you have right now. Well, Darin, I can't leave the house. That's a can't do, not a can do. Focus on what you can do. So don't compare yourself to others. That was number 5. Number 6, don't wait till you feel like you're motivated. Emerson said, do the thing, have the power, not wait for the power, and then go do the thing. Motion creates emotion. Every successful person I've ever met, talked to, studied, heard their interview, read their books, none of them feel motivated hardly any of the time, but they do it no matter what. Okay, they do it no matter what. So motivation can get you going, but discipline keeps you going. At first, you create your habits, then your habits create you. All right, number 7, this is a big one. Choose the right environment. Choose the right environment. John Maxwell says, you may have seen growth equals change. It's possible to change without growing, but it's impossible to grow without changing. Now, this could be a life changer for all of you that are watching. I don't care if it's live or replay. If you go, for people that knew me back in the day, fighting, terrible attitude. I broke both my hands on people's faces, terrible attitude, driving like a maniac. Like my mom would tell people, hey, either he's going to be in a magazine or on the post office wall or whatever, he's going to be in jail. I don't know which. For a long time, there was a very fine line. And they go, well, how did you go from depressed, OCD, obsessive compulsive, angry, all of those things to changing your world? This is a big part of it. If you change yourself, but not your environment, You change yourself. You work on changing yourself, but not your environment. Growth will be slow and difficult. If you change your environment, but not yourself, growth will be slow and difficult. However, if you change your environment and yourself, growth will be faster and more successful. And listen to this. Change who you spend time with. Social psychologist Dr. David McClelland of Harvard said the person who habitually associates you habitually associate with are called your reference group. These people, okay, here's how you know if you're going to succeed or not. They determine 95% of your success or failure in life. It's not always comfortable, but it's always profitable to associate with people larger than ourselves. So in other words, your environment is more powerful than your willpower. I don't care how strong you think you are. If you go, hey, well, you know what? No, they're not rubbing off on me. I don't believe the same thing they believe. I tell them what I think. Wrong. Your associations work harder on you than you work on them. Your environment works harder on you than you work on your environment. So you're the only one that can answer this question. What are my associations? What is my environment doing to me, or what is it doing for me? It's like an elevator. It's lifting you up or it's bringing you down. And there's sometimes in life where you have to, well, Darin, how do I get rid of some of my closest friends? Sometimes you have to eliminate certain relationships. Now, if it's your spouse, I'm not saying do that, but sometimes you have to lessen the time that you're with certain people, right? And so you just have to be very careful to ask yourself, because, and again, right now I am so focused on thinking positive and what I can do, and focusing on where I'm going, not where I've been, focusing on possibilities, not what I've lost, that I actually get annoyed with negativity. I do. Like, that's why I unfollow people on Facebook. That's like I'm very careful who I associate with. You show me your circle, your closest friends that you associate with, and I will show you your future. That's a great prediction. I mean, he just showed you, the studies show 95% of your success or failure is your environment and the people you associate with. That's scary. And then the other bullet point that I had, I want to make sure you didn't miss this. It's not always comfortable, but it's always profitable to associate with people larger than ourselves. Because what it does, it raises your waterline. I don't want to be at the top of my circle. Like, I'm making more money, I'm more successful than everybody I associate with. I'm intentionally seeking out people that make more money, that think bigger, that have bigger dreams and visions and goals, and have done more in their life. If I'm at the bottom of that group, the only thing you can do is pull me up. All right, so we're only down to 2 more. 8, ask the right questions. That's pretty simple. I used to ask the questions, well, why do bad things always happen to me? You know, I can't believe that, why does bad luck always come my way? Instead of, and also it's like this, instead of going, I can't afford it, what about asking yourself the right question? How can I afford it? Because your brain always wants to be right. So if you go, I can't afford it, your brain goes to work and goes, here are all the reasons you can't afford it. But when I go, how can I afford it? Then it starts going, man, well, here, your subconscious goes to work and starts helping you be creative. And if we think 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day, the majority of them are subconscious. So your subconscious is the background music playing all day long. So ask the right questions. How can I grow through these challenging times? How can I let these times make me better and not bitter? How can I provide more value than ever before with my products, my services, with my opportunity, right? I mean, how can I use this time to do something that I've been wanting to do my entire life? I mean, you just got to ask the right questions, not just to yourself, but also your mentors. So like, for example, if you've got somebody that has the lifestyle that you want, maybe it's the fitness, maybe it's spiritually, physically, financially, whatever it may be, ask them, hey, look, here's a great question. If you were in my situation right now, what would you do? If you were in my situation right now, what would you do? Does that make sense? Okay, we're down to the last one. Right, let me know if you're enjoying the training, right? Like the videos, comment, share, right? Because I'm watching all that stuff. And that's how I know, and it shows me that you like the content. All right, and so again, I'm gonna remind you of a big announcement we have coming up for next week right here at the end. And last but not least, And last but not least, find, oh, and by the way, let me just share with you this too real quick. I'll do it in a second. Find a good mentor or coach, right? Find a good mentor or coach. Find somebody that you like their training. And, for example, this is a free training, right? But not everybody, I'm sure not everybody likes my training style. Maybe they go, man, he talks too fast. I don't like his bald head. It's okay. I don't like his dad humor, his corny jokes. It's okay, right? Find someone that you relate to. Find someone that you enjoy what they teach. And if you really want to grow slow, here's what I recommend. Don't read books. Don't listen to podcasts. Do not hire mentors or a coach. Like, for example, for the interview that I'm going to do on Tuesday night, right? I went out and hired Sean, one of the top 20 YouTubers in Forbes magazine, where people that I knew said, Darin, you're an idiot. Why would you spend that kind of money to have a VIP day with him, right? And why would you spend that kind of money to get him to do some videos with you? And I go, because I don't want to spend several years trying to figure it out, right? So if I can take and invest, it's not a cost, invest in hiring someone like him and speed my, compress time frames and get to where I want to be sooner than later, why wouldn't I do that? Well, the same people that said I was crazy for doing that, people used to laugh at me. It was close to $80,000 in a 12-month period, 24-month period, on coaches, VIP days, different things like that. And I'm sharing some stuff with you from the things that I've learned, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to wait my entire life when I can hire somebody else and learn from what took them their entire life. Now, you may go, I don't have that kind of money. Can you read a book? Can you listen to an audio program, a podcast, a YouTube video? Can you buy a course while you're at home working on your value? Because some of you right now, I'll guarantee you're thinking like other people that I've talked to, I never want to be in this spot ever again. I never want to feel so vulnerable, so fragile. I would never want to sit around and pray to God that the government's going to send me something to feed my family. This was a great learning lesson for me. I am determined to go out and grow, because we get paid based on the value that we bring to the marketplace, right? So find a good mentor, find a good coach. That's why the 3mfactor.com, that's a group right now, free 30-day trial. If you're in network marketing, that is for you. We don't even collect payment information. Just go there. We'll add you to the group. And at the end of 30 days, if you go, hey, I don't like it, then don't join. Pretty simple. And then the other thing too, I will give you for anybody that, I don't have it up there. Okay. Anyway, so last but not least, just reminding you that stay tuned. Look on my business Facebook page, facebook.com/succeed with Darin. Like the page. Make sure you set it up to see it first. You will see me later on today or tomorrow put up the event for the first TV show that I'm going to be doing, interviewing Sean Cannell. I'm one of the top 20 YouTubers in Forbes magazine. And I know one of his channels has got, I think one of them has over 1 million subscribers, and he's got multiple. And so he's going to show you, and again, the title of that training you can be looking for is how to find prospects and leads with easy to make YouTube videos, even if you have no camera experience. And by the way, the #1 YouTube earner last year was like, does anybody remember, real quick on the comments? I think the kid is 8 or 9 years old, and he made $20-some million on YouTube. That's a great platform to learn, especially some of the studies that I'm seeing say that up to 86% of all content consumed online next year will be video. So and it's a skill. We were looking at one lady, she got on there, she goes, hey everybody, thanks for joining. Okay, and she hadn't been through Sean's course. Then she immediately flipped the camera. She unboxed, she's in a network marketing company, some of the products. She talked about them. She rubbed some of it on her hand. And then at the end, she goes, thanks for watching. And that was it. It was like 2 or 3 little edits, and it's had several thousand views. Now, if you apply Sean, what he teaches, to doing something that simple, can you imagine where all of a sudden you're getting video views every single hour, and people they're clicking on your link in the description. So even while you're sleeping, that video is working for you. That's what we're going to talk about next week. So again, if you feel like you got some value out of this, share it. Make sure you let me know that you shared it. Or if you do a watch party, Make sure you comment, even if it's on replay, that you did a watch party as well. Then next week, I will announce who won this week for the 30-minute coaching session. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I really appreciate you tuning in. Take care, everybody.